The moment you stop reacting, stop explaining, and stop begging to be understood, you become dangerous to every person who once controlled your emotions. Your silence becomes power. Your peace becomes untouchable. And the people who thrived on your weakness begin to fear the strength you discovered within yourself. Silence feels like defeat to a narcissist because silence removes the stage they desperately need to survive on. A narcissist feeds on reaction, emotion, attention, and control. The moment you stop explaining yourself, stop defending your worth, and stop reacting to their manipulation, you quietly break the invisible chain they believed would hold you forever. In that moment, your silence becomes power. There was a time in your life when you believed you had to answer every accusation, correct every misunderstanding, and prove your goodness to people who constantly questioned your value. You exhausted your spirit trying to win battles that were designed to drain you. The narcissistic mind thrives in confusion because confusion keeps you emotionally dependent. But the day you choose silence, something extraordinary begins to happen within you. Silence is not weakness. It is disciplined strength. It is the ability to stand firm without surrendering your peace to chaos. Most people think power comes from speaking louder, arguing harder, or fighting endlessly to be understood. True power comes when you realize that your energy is far too valuable to waste on those committed to misunderstanding you. A narcissist becomes terrified when your silence reveals emotional independence. They cannot control a person who no longer seeks validation. They cannot manipulate a mind that has discovered self-respect. Your silence forces them to confront the one thing they spend their entire life avoiding, which is their own emptiness. When you stop reacting, you stop feeding the illusion of their superiority. Suddenly, the tactics that once controlled you lose their effect. Guilt no longer moves you. Fear no longer bends you. Their words begin to sound smaller because your spirit has become larger. This transformation does not happen overnight, but every moment of silence strengthens your inner foundation. There is greatness inside every human being, but greatness can never grow in an atmosphere of constant emotional warfare. Your silence becomes the fertile ground where confidence, wisdom, and clarity begin to rise. You start hearing your own thoughts again instead of their criticism. You begin trusting your instincts instead of doubting yourself. And once a person reconnects with their inner certainty, they become unstoppable. The strongest individuals in life are not those who seek revenge. They are the ones who master themselves. Silence is self-mastery. It is refusing to hand your emotional steering wheel to someone who enjoys driving your life into storms. Every time you choose peace over reaction, you reclaim another piece of your power. Your silence also teaches the world how you deserve to be treated. People who respect you will value your calm presence. Those who only valued your reactions will become uncomfortable when they can no longer provoke you. That discomfort is not your responsibility. Never underestimate the force of a peaceful mind. A person who has learned to remain silent in the face of manipulation possesses a strength that cannot be purchased, threatened, or controlled. And the moment you fully understand this, your life begins to change from the inside out. There comes a moment in life when the greatest act of courage is not fighting harder, proving your value louder, or begging to be understood. The greatest act of courage is quietly walking away without explanation. This is not weakness. This is the awakening of self-respect. Too many people spend years trapped in exhausting cycles trying to convince others of their worth. They explain their intentions repeatedly, defend their decisions endlessly, and sacrifice their peace for the approval of people who were never interested in understanding them. Every unnecessary explanation drains energy from the mind and weakens confidence in the spirit. The individual who learns to walk away peacefully discovers a power few people ever experience. When you stop explaining yourself to those committed to misunderstanding you, you protect your mental strength. Your mind becomes clearer because it is no longer crowded with the burden of convincing others to see your value. You begin to understand that not every person deserves access to your thoughts, your emotions, or your justifications. Wisdom teaches you that silence often speaks with greater authority than endless words. Walking away without explanation is a declaration that your life has purpose beyond conflict. It means you finally recognize your future is too important to waste in battles that produce no growth. Every successful person reaches a point where they realize their destiny cannot be built while constantly defending themselves against negativity. Greatness requires focus, and focus becomes impossible when your energy is consumed by people determined to pull you backward. There is extraordinary freedom in no longer needing everyone's approval. The moment you release that need, fear begins to lose its grip over your life. You stop making decisions based on guilt and begin making decisions based on vision. This shift changes everything. Your confidence strengthens because it is no longer dependent on the opinions of unstable minds. You become emotionally independent, and emotional independence is one of the highest forms of personal power. Many people fear walking away because they worry about what others will think. But successful individuals understand a powerful truth. People will judge you whether you stay or leave, whether you speak or remain silent. Since judgment cannot be avoided, you must choose the path that protects your peace and honors your future. Walking away without explanation also reveals inner discipline. It shows you are no longer controlled by the need to win every argument or correct every false narrative. Truly powerful people do not waste their lives trying to control how others perceive them. They remain focused on building character, vision, and purpose. Over time, results speak louder than explanations ever could. The world respects those who respect themselves. When you walk away from manipulation, disrespect, or constant emotional confusion, you send a message to your own spirit that you deserve peace. That decision begins to rebuild the confidence that may have been weakened through years of emotional struggle. Never underestimate the opportunities that appear once you stop forcing yourself to remain where you are not valued. New strength enters your life. New clarity enters your mind. New doors begin to open because your energy is finally moving toward growth instead of survival. The power of walking away without explanation is the power of choosing your future over your frustration and your peace over pointless battles. There is a force within every human being that becomes unstoppable the moment it is disciplined, protected, and directed with purpose. That force is silence. Most people underestimate silence because they confuse it with weakness, fear, or surrender. In reality, silence is often the highest form of self-control. It is the calm strength of a mind that no longer allows outside chaos to dictate inner peace. A narcissist survives through reaction. They depend on emotional access to your thoughts, your fears, your anger, and your attention. The moment they can provoke you, they feel powerful. The moment they can control your emotions, they believe they control your life. But silence interrupts that cycle completely. Silence removes the fuel their manipulation depends upon. In your life, there may have been seasons where you constantly explained yourself, defended your intentions, and reacted to every insult or accusation. You may have believed that if you could just say the right words, they would finally understand your heart. But some individuals are not seeking understanding, they are seeking control. And control loses its power when there is nothing left to manipulate. Silence becomes the wall they cannot climb. It becomes the door they cannot force open. A narcissist cannot easily control someone who has mastered emotional discipline because emotional discipline creates independence. Once you stop reacting impulsively, you begin thinking clearly. Once you begin thinking clearly, fear weakens. And once fear weakens, manipulation loses its grip over your life. The strongest minds in the world are not controlled by external noise. They are guided by internal certainty. Silence helps you develop that certainty. In silence, you begin hearing your own wisdom. Instead of the confusion others place upon you, you begin recognizing your worth without needing constant approval. Your confidence starts growing from within instead of depending on the opinions of unstable people. There is tremendous power in refusing to argue with those committed to misunderstanding you. Every argument drains mental energy that could have been invested into your purpose, your dreams, and your growth. Successful individuals understand that life rewards focused energy. When you stop feeding unnecessary conflict, you free your mind to create a better future. Silence also reveals character. Weak individuals react to every provocation because they are controlled by emotion. Strong individuals choose their responses carefully because they are controlled by vision. A calm mind can accomplish what an angry mind never will. This is why silence unsettles narcissistic people. Your calmness exposes their inability to control themselves. As your silence grows stronger, something remarkable happens. You stop chasing validation. You stop fearing rejection. You stop shrinking yourself to keep toxic people comfortable. Your spirit begins to rise because you are no longer surrendering your peace for temporary acceptance. This transformation changes the direction of your entire life. Never believe that silence means you have lost your voice. Silence simply means you have learned the value of your energy. Not every battle deserves your attention. Not every accusation deserves your defense. Sometimes the greatest victory is protecting your peace while others destroy themselves trying to disturb it. The moment you realize silence is a form of power, you stop feeling powerless. You begin walking through life with quiet confidence, emotional discipline, and inner certainty. And that is the one thing a narcissist can never truly control, because true power belongs to the person who has mastered themselves. Quiet confidence is one of the rarest forms of strength a human being can possess because it does not beg for attention, approval, or recognition. It moves in silence, stands in certainty, and grows from deep self-belief. A narcissist fears this kind of confidence more than anything else because quiet confidence cannot easily be manipulated, intimidated, or controlled. Many people spend years searching for confidence in the wrong places. They seek it through praise, validation, popularity, or acceptance from others. But confidence built on outside approval becomes fragile because it disappears the moment criticism arrives. True confidence is built differently. It is created through struggle, discipline, self-respect, and the decision to believe in yourself even when others refuse to see your value. In your life, there may have been moments when people attempted to make you doubt yourself. They questioned your worth, minimized your accomplishments, and tried to convince you that your voice did not matter. Narcissistic individuals often do this because insecure people fear the presence of someone discovering their inner strength. They feel powerful when you feel uncertain. But the moment you begin trusting yourself quietly and consistently, their influence begins to fade. Quiet confidence changes the energy you carry into every room. You no longer feel the need to defend every decision or explain every action. You stop chasing people who cannot appreciate your value. Your peace becomes more important than proving yourself to those committed to misunderstanding you. This emotional stability creates a power that unsettles manipulative people because they can no longer control your reactions. The world often mistakes loudness for strength, but genuine strength rarely needs to announce itself. A mountain does not shout to prove its existence. The sun does not beg the world to notice its light. In the same way, a truly confident person moves through life with calm certainty. They know who they are without needing constant applause. This quiet self-belief becomes threatening to narcissistic individuals because it exposes the weakness behind their need for control. A narcissist depends on emotional chaos to maintain influence. They study insecurities, provoke reactions, and create confusion to keep others emotionally dependent. But your quiet confidence interrupts their strategy. The moment you stop reacting emotionally to every criticism, you take away the power they once held over you. Your calmness becomes evidence that you are no longer seeking permission to believe in yourself. There is tremendous freedom in reaching the point where your self-worth is no longer tied to another person's opinion. Once this happens, fear begins to disappear from your decisions. You stop shrinking yourself to avoid conflict. You stop abandoning your dreams to keep insecure people comfortable. You begin walking with purpose because your confidence is rooted in vision rather than validation. Quiet confidence also creates resilience. It allows you to face rejection without collapsing and criticism without losing direction. Successful people understand that greatness requires emotional endurance. Every challenge you survive without losing faith in yourself strengthens your character and sharpens your discipline. Never underestimate the influence of a peaceful mind and a confident spirit. You do not need to overpower people with noise to become powerful. The strongest presence in any room is often the individual who remains calm, focused, and certain of their worth without demanding attention. And when your confidence becomes quiet instead of desperate, steady instead of emotional, and grounded instead of performative, it becomes the very thing insecure people fear most because your inner strength reminds them of everything they have failed to build within themselves. Peace is one of the greatest forms of wealth a human being can possess, yet many people unknowingly surrender it every single day. They give their peace away to arguments that never end, to people who thrive on conflict, and to environments that constantly drain their spirit. Over time, this emotional exhaustion weakens confidence, clouds judgment, and steals the energy needed to build a meaningful life. But there comes a moment when a person awakens to a powerful truth. Peace is not found by controlling others. Peace is reclaimed by controlling yourself through strategic silence. Strategic silence is not avoidance. It is wisdom in action. It is the ability to recognize which battles deserve your attention and which battles exist only to distract you from your purpose. Most emotional chaos survives because people continue feeding it with reactions, explanations, and endless attempts to defend themselves. The moment you stop participating in unnecessary conflict, you begin reclaiming the mental and emotional energy that was slipping away from you. In your life, there may have been seasons where you felt trapped in cycles of tension and emotional confusion. You may have believed you needed to explain yourself constantly in order to be respected or understood. But true strength is not found in endless defense. True strength is found in emotional discipline. The strongest individuals learn that silence can protect their vision far more effectively than anger ever could. A narcissistic person fears strategic silence because silence removes their access to your emotions. Manipulative individuals depend on reaction. They study your insecurities, provoke your fears, and attempt to pull you into emotional storms where they can maintain control. But when you respond with calm silence instead of emotional chaos, their influence weakens.